Hey guys, it's Daniel here. Now you're probably wondering why I have a better quality than I did before. Well, as you know, my quality in past few videos weren't exactly that good, but I figured out a way to make them better. You see, I made my voice more clear because I've got headphones in and this part of the headphone has a microphone, so I can make my voice more clearer, and I'm filming my videos from a different angle. I'm no longer using my phone when I'm looking at myself filming the video. This time I'm just looking at the camera with the iPhone Apple logo on the back. But enough about my new quality. Let's talk about what I came to talk about in this video. And that is my thoughts on the third episode of WandaVision, titled Now in Colour. Just like my last video, this video is going to be spoilers, so you've been warned. No, I wasn't that particularly fond of the first two episodes of WandaVision. I mean, they were alright. They had me a few laughing, and WandaVision are hilarious to come back. But I just didn't find it to be that interesting, and plus, I found it to be extremely high. Like, it is crazy. Thankfully, this third episode is a massive improvement. So, how does this episode start off? Well, with another comedic sitcom intro. But this intro is definitely a bit more better because it's a different theme song, like it's a happy theme song. And I have to say this song was kind of catchy. It kind of reminded me of the song Hello World is a song that's to make you happy. But this time it's like WandaVision. So, I guess it was kind of funny. The episode starts off with the last episode starts off, where Wanda finds out she's pregnant, and then she's literally, like, her belly is grown with babies. So basically, she's now trying to figure out how to relax with the babies. And Vision is trying to help him, and one of the running gags in this episode is that Vision keeps trying to guess when the baby is coming. Is it coming in a few months? Is it coming out in a few weeks? Or is it coming out in a few days? And it turns out that the baby is born on that particular day. So it was kind of humorous, so I guess it was kind of funny. So, in fact, this episode is definitely more funny than the other ones, but we'll get to that later. So basically, they're all setting up. He goes to see the doctor. The doctor says that he'll be coming out in a few months, but as we know, Vision just gets that wrong. So basically, he goes out, but then this is where the most breaking of the reality that Wanda has created starts to break, because Vision goes out to see his neighbour, but his neighbour ends up cutting, like, he leaf cuts through the wall, and Vision is like, you do know you're cutting through your wall? And the neighbour's like, oh yeah, I am, thank you. But he doesn't stop, because he just keeps looking at Vision funny, and he just keeps going through the wall. Now, you might see that as a humorous bit at first, but that's when the reality starts to break, because immediately, like, on the next day probably, Vision sees Wanda, and he's like, I think something's wrong here. Some things are going on. The doctor, the dinners, and one of the neighbours cutting through the things while looking at me funny. Something's wrong. And then Wanda looks very carefully, but then it cuts to black for a split second, and then it goes back to Vision. That's where the reality starts to break, because Wanda starts realising that Vision starts to be aware of what is going on, so she basically just rewinds the reality. So that's only a single part, but it gets even more exciting later on in the episode, which we'll get to that later. So again, they're still trying to figure out the baby, but then immediately, like, Wanda starts to realise that the baby's coming out straight away. So Vision goes out to get the doctor, but then they meet their neighbour, Geraldine, who comes to visit, and basically Wanda's, like, trying to hide the fact that she's pregnant, while also trying to hide the fact that a stork's in the house. Like, what was that about? And I have to say, that's probably the most hilarious bit of the MCU. Well, not the most hilarious bit, but the most hilarious bit with Scarlet Witch ever. Like, she's just trying to hide the fact from her neighbour. It was just so humorous and ridiculous, but it was kind of funny. Not to mention, Elizabeth Olsen was a joy to watch in this scene as Wanda. She's, like, holding up the confusion, but also trying to hide the fact that she's pregnant, and also trying to hide the fact that they're stuck in a house. I thought Elizabeth Olsen was hilarious in this moment.
Did you hear that? No. It was like a chattering sound, like,
Oh, like a...
yeah.
That's my new ice maker built right into the fridge.
So then, after a huge, like, comedy bit with the stork, Geraldine then realizes that Wanda is pregnant, and so she's basically just trying to keep Wanda nerve while Vision goes to fetch the doctor, running him back to the house. And then, suddenly, baby Tommy is born. Yep, the baby is born, and his name is Tommy. Basically, throughout the episode, Wanda and Vision are fighting which of their baby should be named. Vision thinks that their baby should be named Billy, but Wanda believes that their baby should be named Tommy. So they keep fighting, and eventually, baby Tommy is born. But if you follow that cliche, you probably know what's going to happen at the end. Yep, there are two babies named Tommy and Billy, twins. And I heard that Tommy and Billy are, like, from the comics, like, they're superheroes, but I can't remember what the superheroes are called. But we're going to have to wait and see if that's the case later on in the show, because it takes place in, like, in different decades. Well, wait, I hope it's a decade. I think it's a decade, like 10 years. Every 10 years, I'm pretty sure it's a decade. So they leave the house, the doctor leaves, and then, remember that neighbour that trims through the wall I said earlier? Well, he returns with the neighbour from the past few videos. It was played by Catherine Hahn, or at least I think that was Catherine Hahn. And then, this is the biggest, this is probably the best part of the whole episode. Vision starts to clue in, like, he's wondering what is going on, because the two neighbours are fighting about what they should tell him. Because basically the man is like, oh, we can't tell you what's truly going on, because we're all, and the Vision's like, because we're all what? And if you thought that wasn't big enough, we have the scene with Scarlet Witch and Geraldine, who is really an identity because her real name is Monica Rambeau. Yes, Monica Rambeau, the little girl from Captain Marvel, has returned, and it kind of hints that she's working for S.W.O.R.D, like she's an undercover agent trying to see what Scarlet Witch is doing in this reality. So basically, she clues in on what is going on after Scarlet Witch mentions her brother Pedro from Age of Ultron, and then Monica says, your brother, he was killed by Ultron, wasn't he? And then Scarlet Witch is like, what did you just say? He was killed by Ultron? Is that what you said? Is that what you said? Right, you know what? Screw you. You're out. You are out of this reality, and I don't want you coming back. So she uses magic to fling her out of the reality, where she ends up in a field, surrounded by millions of guards from S.W.O.R.D, and that's basically how the episode ends. So yeah, that's the third episode. I probably might have not mentioned all of the episode, but those are basically the main parts of the episode. So, a couple of things I should mention about the episodes that I haven't talked about. First of all, oh my god, another funny moment. This is probably the funniest moment in the entire episode.
Liz?
Yes, dear?
I think my water just broke.
Yes, dear.
I mean, just the fact that her water just broke, but then it starts raining in the house, that was hilarious. Another part of the thing that I should mention is the commercial that takes place halfway through the episode. Now, for the past few videos, I forgot to mention that there were commercials. Now, at first I was like, why are there commercials exactly? It makes it even more weird. But then I started to realise that these commercials have a bit of relevancy in the story. I can't remember what the commercial was in the second episode, so I can't remember how that plays into the story. But in the first episode, with the whole toaster thing, the little light on the toaster was red, so it kind of indicates that the reality is breaking into colour. And then in the third episode, this is probably the best one in the third episode so far, although I can't figure out the third episode is like out right now, and the fourth episode doesn't come until tomorrow. But there's a little commercial in which a woman decides to take some time off, live in a little lifestyle that she loves. Now, again, you could see this as a comedy bit, but if you think about it, this commercial and the story of WandaVision are kind of the same, because both the woman and Wanda want to live their own lives, so they just live in a beautiful life that they would never want to come from. So, you see what they did there? It's kind of clever, isn't it? And then one of the greatest moments with Scarlet Witch in the entire episode is the scene where she's singing to her babies. That was kind of touching, and yet a bit unnerving, because while she's singing the song, Monica Rambeau starts to realise that she's in a reality. But it was kind of touching to see her sing to her babies after she mentions her brother's death. So, overall, this episode of WandaVision is a huge improvement over the first 2 episodes. Now, I know that's not really saying much, because I thought the first 2 episodes were just okay, but this episode is definitely the strongest. One of the biggest reasons for that is because I thought the first 2 episodes didn't have a lot of funny moments. I mean, yes, they did have a few, but not a lot. But this episode is consistently funny. So that was a huge improvement. So I'm kind of wondering if the show is going to get better and better with each episode. We're 3 episodes in already, and the 4th episode is already coming out tomorrow. So we're getting pretty quick there, aren't we? Yeah. So I am excited to see more of the episodes and figure out and answer more to these questions. Like, they're really keeping the mystery of the whole reality in the dark. They sort of explore it in the 2nd episode, like at the end of the 2nd episode with the beekeeper, but they don't seem to explain what is truly going on. Not in the next episode, not in the episode after. It's just kind of a continuing mystery. So, I'm excited. I thought this episode was a huge improvement, and I think you should go check it out. If I were to ever watch this episode again, I honestly wouldn't complain. So guys, those were my thoughts on the 3rd episode of WandaVision. I cannot wait to see episode 4. And what do you think of it? Do you think it's an improvement, or do you think it's worse? And what kind of movie or episode or of a show is an improvement to its predecessor? Let me know in the comment section below. And I will try to do some more videos. I hope this new style works out for you, because it does kind of work out. Because, yeah, you can't deny that the quality in the past videos were crap. So, stay tuned, more videos, and don't forget to like the videos. I put a lot of effort in these videos, so don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with all your friends and family. Don't forget to comment as well. And I'm Daniel, reviewing movies, TV shows, doing videos. What the? Excuse me. Anyway, I'm Daniel, reviewing movies, TV shows, and doing videos. Till then, peace out, man. I don't know why I feel so suspicious about something, or why I have so many zits on my face. But you know what, who cares?